It's almost like everything is easy when we know it. We know that we have that API, an application program interface, from Zoom to YouTube. We're setting up our meeting here and we're connecting, and it's up to it, and it looks fantastic to me. Okay, so I have that part. And Thomas Owens, in terms of his camera, I don't know what it is. He'll check with Sebastian on it. Okay, welcome everybody. Another day of looking at technology and how technology can help us get either closer to our customer, make us more efficient, make us more effective, see what are the issues with some of this new technology trying out, and basically being able to evaluate the pros, the cons, and we having a number of software and hardware that we can use in what I call our tool chest. So Sebastian was talking about an assignment where we were using Google's Notebook LM, which in many ways we can think about it as a learning or study guide that also creates a podcast, which is kind of interesting. With artificial intelligence, we know that a number of us have always listened to podcasts where sometimes there's one person, sometimes there's two, there's banter. And Notebook LM was one of the first software programs taking material and via Gen AI creating a podcast. And also with the podcast, the latest addition to this podcast is it allows a user to join in the conversation. Once the podcast is generated, you as an end user can join in and ask questions. And Sebastian, who is our teaching assistant for this section, has also recorded this, and he had difficulties in playing back with Zoom because we gave an instruction to record on Zoom so we could play back your entire tutorial, and he had issues with the, I guess, playback of hearing it. Is that correct? Am I describing your problem?
Yeah, so if you guys notice at the assignment when you guys get to do it, there's going to be a share audio in bold. For some reason mine was off. Turns out if you just click on computer audio when
Can
you're
you
in the
share
advanced
that
sharing
screen
option,
where it says that?
let me see if I can.
Because that's the best, right? That's why we're
Uh,
doing the tutorial, why we're not going to have those talking heads, that we can do that. Why don't you find out about it, and then I'll come back to you. I'll give you a couple of minutes, Sebastian, on that.
I mean, I know how to do it. You click the share button and
Yeah,
then
but
it
I
says
want I
advanced.
want us to see it. You understand? And then it'd be great if you could put that screenshot, Sebastian,
Okay.
in the instructions, and maybe as a side there. So I'll give you. I don't want to. Everything takes time, so we'll work that out. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I'll come back to you on it. Okay. Any other questions, comments that you have? Um, I have my moderators. You can unmic yourself and let me know. So I'm going to start sharing. And when I share here, if sharing sound, you mean? Is that what you want? Is that the options you're talking about, Sebastian?
Yeah, I put in the chat right now 2 snippets of what your screen is supposed to look like.
Okay. And what is this optimized for video? Optimized for video sharing experience, Zoom Workplace and other may be marked as black boxes. Okay. So optimized for video sharing. I'm gonna click that too and see what's the difference. Okay, so in the chat, you put in, okay, this is to everyone. And in the chat, what did you do? Okay. Do people see this? Do you see when I'm sharing this part? Sebastian, do you see this?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, you can see it. So this was when you went to advanced.
Uh-huh. You click on computer audio.
Okay, computer audio. And what about this in the corner here, share sound?
That's what my question was. It wasn't working. Danny said it was okay.
Is this working or is not?
Danny said it doesn't matter if that's enabled or disabled.
But this is important. So you
Yeah,
need to
he
go
said
to advanced, you're
and
saying,
click
click
computer
on
audio.
computer audio. And then what was the other that you had done, right?
Yeah.
So that was
And you click share on the bottom also when you're done.
okay, and then you sharing here
Yeah.
rather than okay. So when I stop sharing and I say share, right, and I click share, I can have share sound. And what you're saying is go to advanced and click on the computer audio. And if I put that in, oh, that's just for mono or stereo. And it
Yeah.
says share audio from your computer without sharing your screen.
That's why when you also click on your screen, I sent another screenshot.
Okay, so let me look at the other screenshot. Okay, so let me look at the other screenshot that you have. Oh, and that's the second one?
The first one.
This one? Okay, so in
Y-
this, let me just stop so we can do this. So if let me share my screen. And I go to my chat. You're saying the second one?
It's the first one for me, so it should be
Oh, it's the
that one.
first one for you that you're doing your entire screen.
You click screen, and then on the right, you see where it says share sound.
Share
Check mark
sound.
that.
Okay. And what is this optimized for video sharing?
I have not tested that out.
Yeah, that is, I think there's some blank screens. And maybe do optimize for video sharing too. See what are the differences.
Okay.
You can let us know. You know. Okay. Did everybody, and then you added that. Did you add those two screens? And then when you get a chance, Sebastian, add that to the assignment. Maybe you can put a note, if you're having trouble sharing your sound.
Okay. I'll send the pictures over to
Yeah, you
Daniel right
can
now.
send that to Daniel, if you want him to do it. Okay, so we see here that everybody is up and running. So let's go back to the computer. We'll talk about it. Okay, let's go to, as we said before, what I want to cover today is more about security. I also want to talk more about data management, the advantages of data management, right? I want to be able, can you see my screen? Thomas, can you see my screen of BTE
Yes, I can.
H1? You see it?
Yes.
Okay, good. So if I go to what's due, and I go to the what's due section, let me just stop sharing for 1 second. I think this is what I want to do. I want to close this. I want to go share. And optimize. I'm going to take this off. Let me share. Yeah, I'm going to take off. I think what happens with that optimize for sharing, I think it takes off the group members, Daniel. That's what I see on my end. When I clicked on that optimize for sharing, I don't see the faces. So they shouldn't do that because you want to see you want to see the face. So this is the assignment. I have an audit assignment for dynamic voice AI assignment, audit assignment. I have the readings for chapter 4, information security. I have an adaptive assignment for information security, and I have a quiz in information security. I'm going to go through all of those and make sure that this is clear to everyone. Okay, Ariana, you with me? So far, so good. And I know that if I want to look at this audit assignment in more detail, where should I go, Ariana?
The audit section.
I want to see about the instructions. In this section, where should I go? Ariana, do you see here where it says audit assignment
Yeah,
instructions?
the audit is, yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Okay, well, I thought audit section, I thought.
No,
you
no,
don't-
no, no.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay, good, all right. And then I can see that this assignment then will guide you through, and we're gonna think about it generically, that dynamic Gen AI assistant, because what's interesting, Thomas, is this is just one product by Google that is, they're trying to figure out what can they do with Gen AI. Can you imagine? This is a company, and what do they really want to do, these companies, is they want to produce some revenue, right? In some ways. A lot of this AI, they're spending billions of dollars, not millions, right? Billions of dollars. And some of the critiques is this is, are they profitable? Are they getting anything back? So everybody is kind of like shooting at a star. And once one person sees it, all of a sudden that Google Notebook LM in November of last year just caught on like virally. And people were kind of like shocked by that podcast. And then they started improving it. And I'll show you next week, there are other competitors coming out already. Competitors that say, hey, you listen, Thomas, you want to brand yourself on this, have that voice sound like you, not someone else. So there are a number of different ways. You don't want two people, maybe you want three people in the podcast. Maybe you want, if it's a type of subject, maybe you want it all female or a combination. So it'll be interesting to see that. So if I look at that assignment that we talked about, Ariana, that assignment here is, I want this to be a tutorial that you're also not only showing how to do it, but that you're critical, that you're giving more than what a machine could do, because later on, whatever's going to be on the screen, guess what? All this Gen AI will be able to explain what's happening on your screen, will be reading your screen. So you should be recording it as a tutorial for others to follow. And when you're having issues, for instance, Sebastian, it'd be even good to have the students record those issues. For us, issues are not the problem. Sometimes issues are important for others to see. The key is, what is the solution for it? So I want you to do that. Plus, you'll upload the PDFs of the textbook chapters. Each of you will choose a textbook chapter, and you'll then, after you'll ask it to generate multiple choice questions. When it generates a podcast, you'll join and ask at least 2 to 3 questions to see how it responds. And you'll record all of that with Zoom to capture both the screen and the audio. So at this point, Sebastian, you may want to look through those individual instructions and see, probably in preparation somewhere where that's supposed to be entered in the appropriate place. Sebastian, yes? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay, and then you'll access that, create it, record it via the processing, and you'll be doing it, in this case, you'll be uploading as a PDF. Notice this product, Google, in this case, Lily, this notebook LM is produced by Google. So who owns PPTX? PowerPoint. What company owns
Microsoft.
that? Who?
Microsoft.
Right. So notice that Google natively does not accept PPTX into Google LM. So what they'll do is they'll do their version of slides. Have you ever used Google's slides?
Yes,
Really?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, so notice they'll let you do this. From the textbook, from the authors, they saved it as PPTX. So the easiest way for you is a PDF. This is by Adobe and it's kind of a generic way. So that's why I'm saying convert your PPTX to PDF, because all you have to do is open the PowerPoint, save as a PDF. But you could, Lily, take and convert it to the slides and then upload it. It just takes more efforts. That's why I thought the suggestion to convert it to a PDF was important. And then you'll see that wrapping up your work. So let me do this. Let's go then for that assignment. Let's then go to the audit area. And that's where I got confused, Ariana, when we said audit area. When I say audit area, I'm talking about our second instance of Blackboard where you have, your privileges have changed, right? And there's something in the textbook, Ariana, called least privileges. Let me just write it down for you, Ariana. Least privilege. How do you spell privilege? Thomas, what have I always used for roles? What did I always use? I always said, give somebody the role that what? You remember?
Of a teaching system?
Yeah, but what do I always say? I say need to know. You remember that, Thomas? Those 3 words? I want, if you're the director in the, let's say in information systems, Thomas, they make you the chief technology officer in a company. You'd want all your end users to have the role basically that they could do their work successfully, but you don't give them too much privilege, that you give them roles that they don't need. So that's what they call like least privilege or the need to know. You need to know, Thomas, your grades, right? That's important. You need to know your assignments for the class, but you do not need to know everyone else's grade. You agree with me? So you are the role in our regular section where I distribute grades and you receive your grades. That's based on your need to know as your role as student. And my role, the way that they have it, is called instructor. But I gave you another instance in Blackboard to increase your privileges, to give you the rights to do more than you could in the regular role, that you could basically upload whatever you chose to do. You could edit, you could audit other members in that audit area. And in a way, it's dangerous. Why? Because someone could take your work that you spent hours on and do what with it, Thomas? They could delete it, right? They could change it. They could upload something in your and put it on your name, right? But in this case, we know what the issues are. So that's kind of the need to know here. So I'm going to go to the audit area. Is this the audit area? Is this the audit area? No, it looks like this is the same thing. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to go to audit. And how do I see it? You see right here the word audit. Audit means that everybody can audit everyone's work. That's why I do it. I go to assignment groups and I go to group 0. And under group 0, you have already dynamic voice AI assignment. Everybody see that? That dynamic voice assignment. Right now, each group should have this. Even if you haven't done the work, each group should have this. So what I expect now when I'm saying that have one person in your group create at the bottom here, right under your screen recording group assignment. It should say exactly dynamic voice AI assignment. And there should be a list of everybody in your group with what chapter was assigned to them. We said that chapter 1, we took on as an example, chapter 1, it's a generic one. So everybody in your group choose another one, so that they will fall in. Any questions? So Sophia, is there any questions that anyone has? Is that clear, Sophia? Okay, you can unmic yourself so I can hear it and everyone else gets. We're transcribing this, and still in transcription, it would be great if the Gen AI could see that this meant no, right? But later on, it will be facial recognition, right? That they'll know that this doesn't. And then later on, they'll be able to see whether something is. And now I got a sign saying my internet is unstable, but I'll be able to do this. Why don't I, as I do this, I'm going to, Thomas, make you a co-host, just in case. And then also Sebastian, just in case I get locked out. And I have to go to another computer, we can have. Okay. And then within that, this is a folder. Everybody knows this is a folder. Then underneath that dynamic folder here, you can see here, these are by individual. So you'll have each individual in your group put this up. Where it's a sample dynamic voice assignment, you put your name in it, right? You'll have the Zoom recording link, the AI companion reflections, the notebook. And let me ask you another question, Sebastian. Is there a link for the podcast?
What do you mean link?
If you wanted to share your podcast link from Notebook LM, if you didn't record it.
I don't know actually.
So
Let me
find out.
check.
Everybody
Yeah.
understand what my question is? Not only to Sebastian is, in Notebook LM, you have a podcast. Are you able to share that podcast? Wouldn't that make sense, Thomas? That if you created this, that I would imagine that they were allowing you to do that. So
You
Thomas,
are able. You do
What?
have a link. You are able to share with the link.
So what would be good, Sebastian, is also to put that here as well.
Okay.
The
In the
podcast
that.
link. So let's put it in, even in the sample, or let Daniel know that after this Zoom recording link, it also be the Notebook LM link, and make sure that it is shareable and it's open for everyone, right? That it's not a closed link. Wouldn't that be good, right? Doesn't that make sense, Sebastian?
It does.
You're right. Because it's not just a Zoom. You don't want to just use Zoom. And later on, I imagine that they will be more sophisticated, Google, and allow you to link it. Okay. And if you'd like, you could even do it, stream it live. So another thing, Thomas, if you'd like it, we didn't require, because some people didn't have their live thing, is while you do it, also live stream. Might as well. Does it cost you anything? Does it take more time, Thomas?
Nope.
No. Isn't that great? That you get an extra step of then you can, and then later on you can then add tags and things like that. You could even do, if you wanted to, Loom and others, right? That you could do it, OBS. But these are kind of ideas that you can add. Okay, I have my assignment. Then I have, make sure you turn on your Zoom AI companion summary. So at the end, you'll get that summary that we've done before. This is a part where you need to add. What were your reflections, your issues? This is what it is. What did you think about this product? How could it be improved? Where could it be used? Where could it be used in business?
Professor, I just talked with Daniel. He says that you can't share the link because it would require the students to manually share their emails with us.
Oh,
So
you can't make an open link?
I don't think you can make an open link according
Okay,
to Daniel.
check to see if it is. So we won't do that now, but that'll be on your back burner. You understand? Definitely we don't want to make it because but check it. And you can research that, Sebastian, if you can make, how can you make Google? And then later on, the dude that you want it open. Right now, they probably are worried about it. Okay. So we'll keep that, the notebook multiple choice. Any questions on that? So if I go back to assignment groups that I would have here, in group 1, doesn't matter already, I have dynamic voice assistants. And then once they decide who has each chapter, they'll put in each chapter. Everybody clear? Sophia, what else do I need to explain? Is that, you'll have to unmic yourself to let me know. Is that clear?
I think that's clear.
Good. I'm glad that you think so. Okay, next. The next thing that we talked about is Wiley reading and adaptive. Under Wiley reading and adaptive, there's a number of ways in which you can get the chapters. You can get the chapters, right? Everybody needed to do the chapters of the adaptive assignments, right? Here you can see, for instance, they talk about the database approach, managing big data, data warehouses. This is it. Another area, let me just show you what you can do under fundamentals. And if I go to Wiley and adaptive, you see here on the very top of Wiley plus course resources. If you want to see the book and what's available there, you can go to Wiley plus resources and you can get a lot more resources. So if I go to data and knowledge management, here you have sections here. If you would like, you can see their videos about some of these. You have a choice. You want to read it, you want to view it, fine. But here's the idea of the database approach. And if I think about the database approach, I can click on it. You can see that this is coming straight from the textbooks, talking about what is a data file. So if I think about a data file is a collection of logically related records. So this is the key, Lily. If I talk about a data file, you with me, Lily? I talk about a data file, and they're talking about what if I looked at the definition here, they're talking about a collection of logically related records. So I have to figure out what is a record. And think about it, Lily, you're on a roll now. I have a grade book. You're in my grade book. You agree with me? You're in my grade book.
Yeah.
And in my grade book, I have maybe C number as one column. I'll have last name, first name, and let's say, just to make it short, I have test 1, test 2. I have 4 columns. And what do I have in the rows, you think, after the titles?
Like the grades, like the certain assignments and
Yeah,
the
but
grades.
I'm just going to put grades in there. But what? What is row 3 going to be? It's going to be, let's say, in this case, a row 38 will be then last name Walsh, first name Lily, right?
Mhm.
And it'll maybe have the first one, it'll be her C number, last name Walsh, first name Lily, and what? Test 1, let's say it's 99, and test 2, 100. Okay? Each of those rows are called what? in database terms?
The logically related records.
Exactly.
And
They
also,
don't tell you
I'm,
that. They don't tell you that in simple words that you would know. If I told you every row is a record, that would make sense to you, right? And you know that every column, basically in database terms, is called a field. A field is a column in a database term. You know this, but they use different terms in a database management term. So a field is a column. So C number would be column 1, last name is column 2, or a field. So when they talk about a data file as a collection of logically recorded records, what a data file becomes then is that you can have it, and the problem with a data file in a managed environment, then over time, I have my grades, and maybe in my grades afterwards, I have grade averages. But in a database, what they try to do is they try to centralize common data. Did you hear my term here? The idea is having a university central database, and think about just this. The university has your C number, it has your last name, it has your first name, it has your GPA, it has your address, right? It has your date of birth. We can go on and on. All of those are what? All of those different items are fields. And if you change your address, Lily, are you living on campus or off campus?
I'm off campus.
You're off. Were you ever on campus?
Yes, freshman year I was.
Okay, so freshman year, and then you decided to be off campus, that address changed. And if we had files, if the School of Business, what's your major, Lily?
Accounting and finance.
And then the accounting department had your address, the finance department had your address, the School of Business had your address, the registrar had your address, financial aid had your address. I'm going on and on. I'm getting tired already. You change your address. How many times? It could be done 50 times, had to be changed your address. Does that sound, Lily, efficient? Changing your address 50 times or 100 times?
No.
Not at all. This is going to take up more space. Yes, it will. Who's going to change it in each place? Right? Do you have to go to 50 different people in the university? Oh, change my address. Oh, change my address. You know, I wouldn't want to do that, and either should you. So the idea with the database management, the whole idea of the database management is that we will then reduce the redundancy and have more accuracy, that when we update it, chances are we'll get it accurately done one time, versus somebody will say, you know, your address is 1150 8th Street, and it should have been 1130. And they just somebody missed the 5 and made it a 3. Somebody said it was 8th Street. It was supposed to be 10th Street, all in all. So this is what they're telling you. So this is the key. This is what the problems that database eliminate many problems that arose from storing data just as a file system. What did it reduce? Data redundancy. Now you know, Lily, right, what data redundancy means. So if I asked you on the test, what problems did the database management system minimize? You know, data redundancy, that you don't have your address 50 times. Data isolation, that I see, I'm looking, somebody comes to me, and I'm quite involved, you know, in the tech community, locally, nationally, internationally, and somebody says, you know, I have a scholarship. I'm looking for an accounting finance female that really wants to know something about Gen AI. Well, in this case, that information is not stored with me. It could be stored somewhere else. So that's what they call data isolation, that I don't have a place to query, and has a GPA greater than, let's say, 3.5. Do I know your GPA? Should I know your GPA? Lily, for
I
need
mean,
to know.
I don't know if it's a need to know, but
If
usually,
you don't know if it's a need to know, it's least privilege. I should not have it. Am I your advisor? No.
Oh,
I'm your what? Professor of one class. So I need to know your grades and what your GPA. You can share it with me. I don't even have any business to ask, you know what I mean? To demand, Lily, tell me what your GPA is. So
yeah.
I wouldn't be able, do you understand what that data isolation is? Here I would really say, hey, she participated in my class. I know that she knows, she's really interested in this. She's in accounting, finance, and she has a GPA greater than 3.5. And she's, what year are you?
A sophomore.
Sophomore. Maybe I can have data for that. You know, that I can find out what your software. So maybe they share with me, they probably do share with me a software, and I think they do share with me your major, but they don't share with me your GPA. So you see here that data is, and data inconsistency. Now you could write about this. If this was an open question talking about basically what are basically a database, what does it eliminate, and give me examples. You could give me examples on data inconsistencies, couldn't you? That it varies copies of the data that don't agree. Yes?
Yeah.
What kind of ways in which you move? Just from freshman year to sophomore year. And you have no idea who has updated it. And it shouldn't be your issue. You have enough things to worry about. You want to succeed, right? You want to be able to grow at the university. You don't want to spend your time updating your fields and your one record. You don't even know where all your data is. What?
Well, it's my responsibility to change my address.
At one
You
place,
do that
right?
you do it in King Lake. It's only in one place.
Right.
So.
Right, but everybody else has to do it, but it's not your responsibility to check for each one. And then you're wondering why you didn't get that notice that they gave you another scholarship, right? They sent it to the wrong address or something. But the database management also maximize, because it's put in one place, your data, there's a risk of losing a lot of data at one time, isn't it?
Yeah, if it's all in
If
one
somebody
place.
cracks that one file, that one database where your information is, and let's think the address isn't so much, but if your social security number is there, if your credit card information is there, your health records, that's why there has to be much more data security in that place. Data integrity. If you've changed your address, you want to make sure that one place they put it was correct. Because everybody's going to have that incorrect. And data independence, that they're, in this case, that they're independent of each other, that when they stop using one application, your data doesn't go away. So these are illustrations for that database that are important. So this is an example that they have, the registrar has the information, the accounting department has it. If you're an athlete, the athlete has it. And this is brought into that data management system that you can get a lot of reports out based on querying. That's what they say, based on making questions to that database management system. And what's important is, if it's data, then there's a hierarchy of how data looks. And that hierarchy of how data looks is the smallest, the very smallest for right now, because when we do quantum computing, it's different. But the way that traditional computers relax is that they represented by a binary digit called a bit. It's just a 0 and 1s, and combinations of those zeros and ones is what the computer reads. And a byte, B-Y-T-E, is basically just a single character. So if I look, Lily, at your name, your first name has 4 bytes. You know it is 4 characters, but it's 4 bytes there that it can be a letter, a symbol, a number. And basically, we know what a field is. What did we say a field was in a spreadsheet? A column.
Yeah.
That's all. Student names, and we can break it up first name, last name, those are fields. And this is then the university database. These are those bits, the zeros and ones that make up a byte. A field, you know, are the columns. And what's a record, Lily?
Like the whole,
Not the
Yeah.
whole. One record is what? One row in the spreadsheet. It's your if I were going to have a database with your, and all of those records make up a file. You know what you can think about? Have you ever used a spreadsheet?
yes,
A sheet is like a file. So in your
Okay.
own terms, a sheet is a file, a record is a row, a field is a column.
okay. That
And
makes
then there's
sense.
a student file. This is the instructor, right? This is the name, blah, blah, blah. This is the faculty, right? On the university. That's the whole idea. So if we look at this time, Sophia, pardon? So Sophia and Jasper, since you're a team here, if when we looked at it, what does a database represent in the context of a data hierarchy? So we're looking at a database based on the data hierarchy. Is it a single character, a logical group of characters, a record, or a logical group of related files?
I feel like it would be,
We're not feeling like it's not feeling. What do we think the answer is?
what do you think, Sophia?
It's not a thing. I
I-
can tell you this is
would it
not
be-
a
Yeah,
it's
single
not a
character.
single.
We're talking
it
about a
be-
database.
A logical grouping of related files.
So in that case, that sounds to me that they're going to say it's good, right? Because a record's going to be just the row, right, Jasper? A logical grouping of the characters is just going to be what? A field, and a single character doesn't make any. It's just like a J for Jasper, right? So, wow. So you don't have to try again. So the idea here is that data management, and they're talking about relational database management, is we have related files together, and we're going to query those related files together. And this, Lily, is exactly when you look at this table, right? This is a file. These right here, each of these rows are called what?
Those are records.
Records. Look at it. Each of the columns are fields, right? And this
Yeah.
entire sheet could be that we think about it as my file. But what we're going to do, as Jasper said, those related files together make up a database. So we can have it related in that aspect. We can have it where I have my structured and unstructured data is that I have, let's go back to here, is we have what we call a key, which is going to be in what we call a primary key. In databases, we have something that's a primary key, and this primary key is we want to have at least one field that uniquely identifies the record, so it can be what? Updated, it can be sorted, it can be retrieved. So a primary key, everybody understand that? Sophia and Jasper, you've been on a roll so far as a team effort here. Basically, what we're saying is a primary key has to be unique. So the question is major a primary key in this database, in this table? Sophia, you can get help from Jasper. Did you hear my question? I'm asking, is the field, because it's a column, major a primary key? True. Major, I could say major is a primary key in this file. True or false? Sophia,
You're muted.
I think true.
why is it true? Why is that unique? Think about what you're saying before you just throw it out. Okay? Confer with Jasper. You can even unmic your, you can mic yourself,
Okay.
turn off your mic and confer with each other. What did we say in this case? We said what, Ariana? That a primary key, we said that a primary key is unique. So I can update
I
a
think
record.
I think the major would not be a primary key because like two people could have the same one and it doesn't distinguish.
Right. And GPA, is that a primary key?
No, because
No, and in its graduation date, of course not.
no. But
Its
student ID
name, could
probably
somebody, Jasper, what's your last name?
Hands.
Right. It could possibly be somebody have your same name. Maybe at this university you have a unique enough, but is it, do we want to count on it? It may not be. If it's Sally Adams, they may not be, or Carlos Hernandez, or whatever we have. So what is unique?
I would say the student ID is.
Right. So now we don't have to like, we don't have to feel, right? It's student ID, and it's basically, and why do they give you C numbers? Do you think they give duplicate C numbers in this university?
No, that's how
No.
they can.
Of course not. Why? Because they want to uniquely find you.
Yeah.
Date of birth is not a good one, right? Usually a social security number or a contrived one. Why did they use C numbers, Thomas, rather than social security numbers in this in our university? Is he speaking to someone else? So everybody understand my question. What was my question? Allie, my question is, they have, why do they not use social security numbers at this universities for primary keys?
I think more so because it's unsafe to do that.
One, great. One is unsafe. You don't want it doesn't, your C number after you leave the university has no meaning to anyone, right? That's true. What else? What do you think, Gia? Why don't they use social security numbers?
Because that's like really private.
One is really private. What else?
Just because it's like a government.
What do you think, Christian?
Because this school can't like control your social security number. So I know for C numbers, the first two numbers
Okay,
are
and do you
your
think
high school
everybody that
graduation.
attends the university has a social security number?
Maybe not.
Who would not?
International students.
Right. Do we have international students? Yes. Do we want to
Yeah.
keep international students? Yes. Do we want to have a international university? Yes. Do we want to take have their revenue? Yes. Right. All of those and above. Right. So we can have it controlled. So one, you are correct, but this is what a primary key is. Everybody with me? So this is an idea here that I can use for my primary key, that this is what a primary key is. And then a secondary key is another field that I can put together that could typically identify, but for instance, I could have then a secondary key, then Christian, be your major. Your major's not enough unique, but your C number plus your major makes then that primary key. And then we have what we call structured data versus unstructured data. What about video? My grade book is structured data. You agree with me that, Christian? I basically have my fixed fields in here, right? Of C number, first name, last name, test 1, test 2. Unstructured could be what? Unstructured could be, for instance, my videos that I could then represent it. So it's the same thing if I do my managed databases. I can do my same thing if I go to my Wiley and adaptive, the same idea. When I look at my information security, what's key in my information security is what we call deliberate threats. And basically, what does deliberate mean versus meaning someone has intentionally want to create havoc into information security. That could be espionage, that could be extortion, that could be sabotage, that could be theft, that could be identity theft, software attacks, alien software, supervisory control, data acquisition attacks, cyber terrorism as well. So these are questions that you would have on methods of attacks, ransomware. If I think about ransomware, Valentina, ransomware is basically some outside forces basically shut down the servers, don't allow users to use it. For instance, we have a health center. Valentina, have you ever been to the health center?
No, I have not.
What do you think the health center does? It stores all the health records of all the students, all the employees, faculty, and others. So what they could do is they could stop basically someone getting into those. So that is ransomware. And what are they doing? Have you ever heard of somebody, do you ever heard of the word ransom, Valentina? That if somebody's being kidnapped, they'll ask for ransom. So it's the same thing that they're going to ask for. So one, Carlos, if I'm looking at that, what there are protections to do ransomware. And guess what they use at the university? They use insurance. So if somebody has taken it, they say, talk to our insurance company. And they're probably, if the insurance company is going to pay, what are they going to pay in dollars, you think? Juan Carlos.
Yeah, most likely in dollars.
You think so? What do you think? Somebody from Russia?
Oh wait, no, actually no. It depends. Like, well,
What do you
I mean,
think they would use?
they could pay you in dollars, but then they'd probably
They would, and then they could trace it easily, right?
yeah.
So what would I want to do?
If the insurance companies pay,
Yeah, what are they paying? What do you think?
I mean, probably crypto. That's
Crypto, yeah, Bitcoin. They're probably asking for Bitcoin, right? So in that case, they're asking for Bitcoin in those ideas. So this is what you need to know. Put this in your notes on table 4.2. Did you hear that, Michael? Michael, you there? Good. Michael, in table 4.2, this is important to know. These are types of attacks that require user actions. You need to press on a link. You have to do something, a phishing attack, a spear. This is what you need to know for the exam, Michael. What is a virus? What is a polymorphic virus? Worms, phishing attacks, all of these attacks, it requires some kind of user action. you had to download something, you had to click on a link that you didn't do it intentionally, but that's how the attack happens. They're waiting for somebody to basically send some information and they want you to respond. Everybody hear that? So this needs to be, did you see that, Ariana, table 4.2, you need to know of what is requiring user actions. Remote attacks needing no user actions are denial of service or distributed denial of service, meaning an attacker sends so many requests to a target computer that basically the system doesn't work as well. Or the attacker takes over many computers, and sometimes they use our computers at the university to what they call botnets to basically attack other computers. You need to know this too. Attacks by a programmer developed a system, either a Trojan horse, a backdoor, or a logic bomb to create havoc in the system. And some of these attacks you can find out via the internet how to do these attacks. They don't even have to be so sophisticated. And think about all that AI. Now AI can do attacks as well. So we have to kind of figure out what is happening there. Okay, so these are some of the issues that I wanted to cover. Did that make sense, Lily, today? Of
Yes.
how to study. And with Sophia and Jasper, one of the things that you could do, even in studying, I'll give you on Monday, I'll give you like a study guide to do. One of the ways is basically on your application of Notebook LM, you can even ask them for multiple choice questions. But let me just show you one more thing, which I think I can share with you. Is it comes back up. Yeah, so you see here where I have introduction information security. This is with the Wiley Plus. You see here, this line here, Michael, do you see this on my screen? I went into Wiley Computer Resources, and you see on the side here, it has like table of contents, my notes. You see this like this diagonal note here. It says study sessions. What you can do, see here, is they give you quizzes here. So these are additional. If I do click on quiz and say get started, they give me multiple choice questions too. Another place where I can review multiple choice questions. Okay. Stop sharing. And then I'm ready to go. Any questions? So Sophia and Jasper, anything that I need to go over? Everybody's clear what needs to be done? Anything in the that I need to address?
No, I think you were pretty clear, and there's nothing in the chat.
Okay. Hopefully next time I can be better than pretty good, and hopefully I'll succeed in that. Okay, so now what I need to do is I'm going to go to attendance. And in check-in, see if it give me start check-in. 7461. So Sebastian, can you be so kind and put that into 7461 into our chat? And when people put that in, it will take attendance. And then I'll stay afterwards and answer any questions that people have specifically. And if you can stay with me, Sebastian, I'd appreciate it. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing. 7461 is in the chat. And
Thank you. Have a nice day.